Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Gone Fishing. I'm your host, Richard Roberts. Today, my special guest is Lonnie Lovett from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Lonnie will be joining us throughout the entire show. Along with Lonnie, we'll be checking in with our technical advisor, Dave Connell. Let's see what Dave's got planned for us today.
Thanks, Rich. I have some valuable tips for our viewers today, and anyone who has ever lost a lure due to poor fastening techniques isn't going to want to miss them. So, back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Dave. Sounds great. Now let's get started by meeting our first guest, Lonnie Lovett. Lonnie, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Rich. It's good to be here. You know, if we have the same sort of luck today as we did last time we were fishing, it should be a good time.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Lonnie, you and I have been friends for, how long would you say?
Well, let's just say long enough.
Yeah, well, we don't want to scare the viewers at home by revealing our ages, so we'll just say long enough.
That's right.
Now, for you viewers at home, you may recognize Lonnie from a show we did about 3 years ago up in Lonnie's hometown of Thunder Bay. Now, Lonnie is the proud owner and proprietor of the Sportsman's Lodge, and the entire crew stayed there when we brought you a show from Thunder Bay. So we thought we would return the favor by having Lonnie down here for some nice southern fishing here on Sparrow Lake. Now, this lake has provided generations of fishermen with some of the best fishing in Ontario. As you can see at home, it's not a long way to travel for some great walleye, pike, or renowned bass fishing. It's only about an hour and a half north of Toronto, and it's well worth the drive.
It certainly is, Rich. And folks, we had a great morning of fishing. And, oh, Rich, that lunch we had on the shore this morning, that had to have been the best ever.
Yeah. To fill the viewers in at home, Lonnie and I have been fishing all morning, and we've been pulling pike out like crazy. So, Lonnie, what's your secret? What's up your sleeve?
Well, there really is no secret, Rich. I've been using this lure all morning, and it's the afternoon now, and I'm still using it.
Oh, it looks like a bushwhacker.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. Many of the folks at home may know that bushwhackers come in various sizes and shapes, and basically I've chosen this one because of its bright green attractiveness, and it really, underwater, it draws the light from the sun and really brings those pike in.
You notice the action with those is just great, and the spinner is a nice touch as well.
Yeah, it is. And they really do make a difference.
Okay, I think it's about time to check in with Dave and see what he's got for us for the first tip of the week.
Thanks, Rich. My focus today is going to be the first on a three-part series of different kinds of knots. Today, we're going to be looking at the surgeon's knot. Basically, it's this. You have your lure, and you have your line. You're going to thread your line through the eye of the hook, bring it through, and around, back again, under the loop you've just made, and then tighten. Now watch closely, because I'm going to do this again. Eye, through, around, through again, under, and tighten. Now, as simple as that seems, I guarantee this is going to be one of the strongest knots you're going to have to bring those big ones in. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Dave. Very useful. We'll be checking in with Dave just a bit later. I want to backtrack a bit to when Lonnie was describing his lure. Now, folks, when you go into your favorite tackle shop and you see hundreds of different types of lures, don't just blindly pick one. A lot of thought should go into your choice. For example, ask yourself, where am I fishing? What am I fishing for? Am I fishing in some shallow weed beds or in some deeper, darker waters? Am I fishing in the sun or in some overcasted weathers? All of these elements should come into play when choosing the tackle.
That's right, Rich. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to choose your lures, but you should apply some good common sense. For example, I have three of my favorite lures set up here. And as you can see, just by looking at them, they all have different applications. This first one is just a regular spinner. It's ideal for 10 to 12 feet of water, and as I mentioned earlier, it attracts the glare of the sun, which attracts the fish. This second one is called a shaker. And unlike the spinner, the shaker is used for darker, deeper water. And whereas the spinner is used to attract the fish by the sight of the spinner, this one uses a sound, thus the name shaker. This third lure is known as a floater. And floaters really are used in weed beds or any place traditional casting methods may be tricky. And Rich, you really can't have too many lures. I mean, you never know what situation might arise.
That's exactly right, Lonnie, but I don't think my wife will agree with you about having too many lures. Let's check in with Dave and see what he's got for us.
Thanks, Rich. You know, more and more I hear people complaining about having to pay for licensing fees. Well, today I want to stress the importance of ministry licensing and the effect it has on you and I. First of all, consider that if you're caught anywhere in Ontario fishing without a fishing license, you're going to be subject to severe penalties. Secondly, take into account that the $10 that you pay actually does do some good. The licensing fee that you pay goes towards the restocking of our streams, rivers, and lakes. It also goes towards the research of chemical levels in our water and our fish. And hey, paying $10 to ensure that your favorite fishing hole goes on being clean and reproductive for years to come isn't that much. So, it boils down to this. Don't knock it, pay it. I'm Dave Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Connell, sir. Very good report. Okay, that just about wraps things up for today's edition of Gone Fishing. My special guest has been Lonnie Lovett from Thunder Bay. And remember, folks, whenever you're up in the Thunder Bay area, remember to stop by the Sportsman's Lodge, and I'm sure Lonnie will take really good care of you. Isn't that right, Lonnie?
That's absolutely right, sir.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'd also like to thank our tech advisor, Dave Connell. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome, Rich. And I hope our viewers are a little more knowledgeable now. And remember, it's not the size of your bait, it's how you wiggle the worm.
Well, we didn't have the greatest luck this afternoon, but we had a lot of fun and hopefully learned something. Even so, you know what they say, a bad day on the lake is better than a good day at school. I've been your host, Richard Roberts. Join us next week for another edition of Gone Fishing.